And 24 seconds. You are live. Marlene Stevenson Daly. I love seeing you in red. Such a beautiful color on you.
Thank you.
Glasses. Oh, you just don't seem to have aged much at all since we were going to school. Congratulations to you
Thank
on
you.
being named the chairman of our chairman of the, oh my god, why does my phone decide to ring in the middle of the event and the start of the event, and somebody calling me all the way from Japan,
Oh
but I have to
dear.
call her back. No, the first thing we learn, in film school
Turn
about
off the devices. Turn off the devices.
film school, the first thing we learned was whenever you're gonna be doing anything live, you need to either put your phone on silent or
Yes.
turn it off. And I didn't do any of the two. So I'm to be blamed. So as I was saying, congratulations to you on being named chairman of the Centennial Committee for three schools: Mount Alvernia High School, Mount Alvernia Prep School, and Chetwood Memorial Primary School.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you so
I-
much. It's a
You,
tall task, and I'm trying to step up to the plate. But I know with the help of alumni all over the country and all over the world, we will have a grand year, and we have been doing pretty well so far.
boy, I tell you, I want to hear more about that because I am pretty excited about the fact that we're celebrating 100 years of existence. I
Can you
mean, I
imagine?
was at Mount Alvernia, 1982 I left. What year you left?
I left a little earlier than you did. I left in 1980. And no apologies, no shame, no nothing. I left in
Why would one be
1980.
ashamed of one's age and one's experience in life, which was what
Of
Mount
course
Alvernia
not.
was for us? So I know you're not. But 100 years is no small feat for any institution, and to still be as relevant as it is right now. What
Indeed.
does this centennial celebration mean to you and wider school communities? Talk to me about that.
I think this 100-year celebration is a real significant milestone for the schools. When you look at where you're coming from, where they started in a little one room by the sisters of the Franciscan Sisters of Allegheny, and when you look at the purpose and the reason for starting the institution, it was much bigger than all of us, and it has
Right.
stood the test of time. So for me, it is a celebration of this major milestone, which over these 100 years, the schools have been touching many, many lives. It has turned out a Janet Silvera. It has turned out a Marlene Stevenson Daly. I mean, seriously, we have our graduates all over the world in so many different spheres of life. They continue to contribute not just to the development of the Montego Bay community, but Jamaica and the world. We have graduates all over the globe. And it started from very humble beginnings on the premise of faith and love and care. And we have been resilient all these years. We're still there. You know what I mean? We're still here. We're still very relevant. We're still nurturing young ladies. And for the young men who are over at Chetwood, some of them end up at Cornwall College across the road, or these days Herbert Morrison, and all over the place. But it is a significant milestone. And all I can say is we need to take time, we need to pause, and we need to say hats off to the founders and all those people who have over these many years given of themselves, given of their time, their talent, their love to make us who we are and to take us to this stage 100 years later.
100. Did you attend any of the two schools, such as Mount Alvernia Prep or Chetwood, either
Yes,
of the two?
yes. I actually was a student at Mount Alvernia Prep.
You
I went to Mount
were?
Alvernia Prep in 19 something. Okay. And then I got there in grade one. I remember I had a teacher like Mr. McPherson who ended up teaching my children when they went to Mount Alvernia Prep. Sister Greta Clark was my principal at the time. And I mean, there's so many teachers like Mrs. O'Grady, who was my English teacher. She was, and you probably know her. She would have been at Heinz Simonich in the latter years, and she was always a part of the Montego Bay Little Theatre movement. But she was my English teacher. I used to go festival and, all of those wonderful things at Mount Alvernia Prep. And I had big sisters at Mount Alvernia High. So when I
Yes,
went
I
over to
remember
Mount
your
Alvernia
sister.
High, I'm big girl already, because I always go over there anyway. I used to go up there to look for my sister Jackie, and then there was Yvonne. And so I knew all the big girls. So when I got there, I was very much at home. And boy, Mount Alvernia High was such I don't know, it was such a training ground. There were just so many memories, so many experiences, so many things that taught me so much. And I have friends from Mount Alvernia Prep to this day. I have a very good friend who was my classmate from grade 3 at Mount Alvernia Prep, and we're still very, very good friends today. Allison.
Petgrave?
Yes, Allison Petgrave. Same one, Petgrave Beckford. And I
Oh my
mean,
God.
Allison was from Upchester Castle, and I was coming from on the seaside from Long Bay. But her mommy was Edna, and her dad was Jim. And so too was my mother and my father. So my father was James, they call him Jim. And her dad was called Jim, and her mom was Edna as well. So we share so much, we had so much in common. And we came through Mount Alvernia Prep, Mount Alvernia High. We lost contact when she went off to Knox and I went off to the Montego Bay Community College. And then, when we see each other, it's like we don't miss a beat. So they're
Yes.
friends. We're friends for life. And there's so many of my friends now who have been friends forever.
Fantastic, fantastic. My sister remains a friend of yours. And
Yes,
I
and Dawn was in class
I
with
used to
me.
walk behind you both when I was in, say, seventh grade and you were in ninth grade.
Yes, man.
So, yeah,
And
I
Dawn
remember all of
used to
that.
love the patty with the shrimp and the cocoa bread that Miss Ramsam, who she used to the lady sitting at the gate selling the little pepper shrimp. I don't know if you remember that, Janet.
You know, recently, we were trying to remember if we were the ones who created Bon and Patty.
Oh yes, man.
We
All kinds of
cannot remember if we
combination.
are the ones who started that in Jamaica. It's possible. It's
Your sister
because if you're
Grace,
talking
man,
about
she
shrimp
used to
and
love
this
that.
and that
Oh
and the
boy.
cocoa bread at the
Mm-hmm.
gate, I mean, we have a rich legacy to
Yes.
celebrate. Really,
Yes.
honestly. I would say that I am a proud Alvernia girl, but I'm even more proud to see what you have become. You spoke about
I
an
endorse
English
that.
teacher, for instance, who you say went on to teach at Heinz Simonish, but then I see you on programs such as Schools Challenge Quiz, and they wouldn't employ somebody like me, because of my diction and because I'm not as suave with the English language. I want to welcome those who have just started watching us. I hope that you either attended Mount Alvernia High School, you're planning to come to our 100th anniversary celebrations, or you've had children who have attended either Chetwood Memorial Primary, Mount Alvernia Prep, or Mount Alvernia High School. Because I went to Mount Alvernia High School, I have to be extremely careful that this live broadcast that I'm doing with the chairman of the Centennial Committee does not feature my school alone. I have to
No.
be extremely careful about that.
Yes,
There
yes,
are
yes.
three institutions right now that we are celebrating, right? Right
Indeed.
here. Tell
Indeed.
us about
Indeed.
some of
All
the,
true.
but I want you to tell us about some of the standout milestones or achievements that the committee felt must be honored during this celebration, because we really want to make people aware of what we're doing, right?
Yes,
That's one of
indeed.
the main reasons why we're doing 100 in 100. Talk to me.
So one of the things is that we're always going back to our roots, which is the Christian-based education. And so we started off our year of activities. Well, we had our press launch in the latter part of 2024. But we started off our year with Thanksgiving. So we had a really rich and very, very refreshing church service. We had our Mass of Thanksgiving on the 26th of January at the Blessed Sacrament Cathedral. And we had the Bishop of Kingston who came down to be a part of it. And also our Bishop of the Diocese of Montego Bay, Bishop Prasad, came as well. And we had all the clergy out in their numbers. We had the groups coming out singing. And, the students from Chetwood, they did a wonderful rendition of We Give You Thanks. And, the church was full. And then we had visitors who were coming in as well. So we had that wonderful church service. And then we had our brunch where we have to sit down and eat and make noise and carry on. And people like Jackie Jarrett, Jackie Jackson Jackie Jarrett Nicholson. Let me mix up all the names now. Jackie and Gina and a number of folks were there, people you hadn't seen in ages, and you were just really so thrilled to see them and just to relive some of those memories, being in that auditorium where I remember as a fourth, fifth former, when we would have functions and so Sister Joan Clare would be very much there with her ruler, and that ruler was to ensure that the distance between you and your partner was very much intact. You couldn't, they would allow some of the fellows from Cornwall to come over, but they had to be at a distance, So we had our brunch and that went very well. And of course, we have some combined activities, but we have some activities which are being done specifically to the individual institution. So while we had that church service and the brunch, other activities took place between Mount Alvernia High, Mount Alvernia Prep, and the Chetwood Memorial. So recently, I know Mount Alvernia Prep, for example, had their Mr. and Miss Alvernia Prep Day, and they crowned their Mr. Alvernia Upper School, Mr. Alvernia Lower School, and, Miss Alvernia Upper and Lower just the same. And it reminded me of my time when I was there, and I was Valentine Princess, and then I was Valentine's Queen in the later part of the thing. And I was like, oh my goodness, when you're doing those things, you don't even think about how it forms you.
Yes.
How it helps to fashion you. Mm-hmm. And how it impacts you even later on. Because I guess from then you could say it's like Puss Brock Cocknut Namiyai. Because I was not afraid of the stage, for example. But it came out of all of that. Just being there, Mrs. Oh Lord, what's her name again? See there, all my brain going. But Mrs. Charlton gave me a microphone one day.
A little bit younger than you, and my memory is worse than yours. So don't even worry about
it. Mrs. Charlton gave me a microphone. Again, she was an English teacher. And she's still alive. I see her every so often when I go to functions at the parish church. She gave me a microphone. She had a microphone, and she said, I came and just took the microphone from her and said, Miss, let me just deal with this for you.
Oh my
and
God.
That was the beginning. I just went on, and I didn't have any. Of course, you get heartbeats and you do get a little bit of anxiety and so, but I think it was just from there that I started to get involved in public speaking and events and that sort of thing. And all of that helped to build me. In fact, it was my friend Barbara McInnes, who is a wonderful designer these days. I mean, she's doing so very well in the States. And she said to me, I said to her that, one of these days I'm going to have Dennis Hall's job. Mm-hmm. I don't remember some of these things, But she said, no, you said it very clearly. We were watching quiz and you said, one of these days, I think I'm going to go take that job from Dennis Hall. And 28 seasons later.
It came to pass.
28 seasons later, I'm still doing that program and I enjoy it because I love the youngsters. And, they keep you young.
and I'm almost certain that you know the meaning of all the words. Incidentally, the questions you ask, I want us to go back to what people should expect for the Centennial. But I want to find out from you.
Of course, I digress.
Questions you ask. Do you remember the answers after?
I digress. So, what do we have? So, Mount Alvernia Kindergarten.
You haven't answered my question.
Then we're going to run down the list
on Schools Challenge quiz. Do you know the answers after? In other words, after asking and knowing and getting the right answers, do you remember? Does it make you a little more intelligent? I
think it does. For the mathematics, I'll admit no. Nobody can help me in that department. But for the But for the other areas, yes, I do recall. And there's some areas that are my forte. Like, I like the English, I like the literature, I like the history, the Jamaican, the culture and those kinds of questions. And I'm very comfortable with those. But the mathematics, no, not
Okay.
so.
And you're not part of you don't formulate any of those questions, do you?
Not the mathematics, of course not.
No, any of the questions at all. Are you
I have a
involved
question
in any
coordinator
of
who
the
is
questions?
also
Yes.
executive producer, and I have to go through all of the matches just the same. And even though we have a cadre of judges who they go through and they verify every single question, I
Mhm.
look through for things like ambiguity in the answers, the phrasing, all of those things. So it's a team really,
Mhm.
and it is their responsibility to do that. But then I, as the quiz master, I also have to go through all of those questions to ensure that when I come to ask those questions, I know what they're asking
Oh,
and I
you're
understand the
legitimate.
questions. You know what I mean? And it's a learning process as well. So you're learning as you go through all of this.
Thank you.
So
Let's go back to Centennial.
having digressed, I go back to Centennial. So Mount Alvernia Prep had their flag raising ceremony. They had their essay and poster competition. And they've also had their 100-day vintage dress up. I don't know if you saw Mrs. Cherian, who is the present principal, former principal at the high school, dressed like a Franciscan sister.
No,
And
I
you would,
didn't see that. I'm so disappointed.
I tell you, you would never know she wasn't Sister Cherian because she wore that dress so well and looked the part. And then they had their open day, and the Mr. and Miss Mount Alvernia Prep Centennial, and
Mm-hmm.
then they have their graduation coming up in short order. And of course, our next big item is the beach party. The
When is
beach
that?
party is going to be on the 26th of July, and that's a joint event. So it's everybody, all three schools coming together for this wonderful beach party. And it's going to be fun, frolic, food, and all of that here in
Where is
Montego
it
Bay.
going to be?
It's
Where?
going to be at the Walter Fletcher Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Some people know it as Aquasol.
Aquasol, yeah.
Yes. So that's where it's going to be. And we're working on, improving the space. We'll be having some performances. We have a DJ all lined up. But I won't tell you too much about that because I'm going to have the Elaine Mullings, who is now the chair of that committee, come back another time and tell you more about
About what to expect.
about what to expect for that beach party. And of course, Chetwood, they've been going on with their thing as well. They had their red carpet affair and they had Careers Day, where all the children turned out in their uniforms for whatever profession they were choosing. And I believe they had a Read Across Jamaica Day that was very special for them because they got a lot of their past students involved coming in to share with them. And
Mm-hmm.
they've already had their honoring teachers day. So they had a function to honor their past teachers, the past principals. And for
Mm-hmm.
graduation, which is coming up shortly, they're having 100 scholarships that they're going to be dispersing to students of Chetwood Memorial. And I think that is significant because, we're in hard times and every mickle make a muckle.
Yes,
So a
correct.
little will go a long way in this instance, and I'm very happy that they're able to carry through this 100 scholarships. And then, of course, they have all kinds of other things coming up. The Centennial Quiz, and the other major event for us is going to be the walk run on November 30, which is again a joint activity. But for Mount Alvernia High, they just had a very successful health fair, health and wellness. And I
Which
think
team did that?
that was done by the Central Florida International Chapter, which is led by Dawn Chin Jones, who was my prefect when I was in first form. Dawn was in, I think, fifth form at the time, and she was my prefect. And she, along with her team, she has a special committee that is set up. And so many of those ladies flew into the island from Allboat, and they came to be a part of that. Many of them are medical professionals. Some are nurse practitioners, some are dietitians, some are nutritionists, some are psychologists. They're into all kinds of things. And that day was so rich. People came in and had devotion with the young ladies at Mount Alvernia High. And we had support from the National Health Fund for that one, where they provided us with items for our care packages. And every single student at Mount Alverna got a little Centennial bag of goodies. We call it our We Care package. And Dawn and her team worked extremely hard. They went through things like learning how to do the Heimlich maneuver and CPR, and they had health talks, and they did a whole lot of screening. The screening was made possible through the Heart Foundation of Jamaica, who was deployed through the National Health Fund to come and do blood sugar, blood pressure, BMI with waist,
Big
hemoglobin
deal.
test, all kinds of
Big
things.
deal.
And
Lots
they had
and
a blood
lots of
drive.
beneficiaries, eh?
Yeah, man, they had a
About
blood
how many
drive.
people benefited? Do you know?
Wow, well, 1,400 students, all the staff, all the ancillary and housekeeping, so we had the people who tend the gardens and all of that, or handymen or housekeepers. Everybody benefited, and they even gave gifts to the Good Shepherd Foundation and other charities that they would have chosen. So it was really rich. At the end of the day, they also gave tablets. 15 tablets were given to heads of departments at the school. They went all out for the Centennial. And it's
Yeah.
not the first time they're having it, and they're very seasoned with it. But they pulled out the stops this year
But that
to
group
make
is
it
a group that
to
has
make it so
always been
special.
giving. I mean, they literally show us all exactly how it needs to be done, to be
Yes,
honest with you. So
I
I'm
think
not even slightly surprised by by what they have done.
yeah,
Seems like
man.
someone has made a comment online there. Let me see if I can see it. Why? Happy 100 from Melissa Graham. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
Thank
To both
you.
my schools, lovely list of upcoming events. We're not finished yet, Marlene.
We're
Talk
not
to us
finished
about
because
the day that the mayor has declared for us. People need
yes,
to know about this.
that's another big deal, I think, because we were able, and I think I must commend the mayor of Montego Bay, Councillor Richard Vernon, his worship, for this initiative. I think it's well deserved, and we accept it, gracefully. So we had to visit the council, and Charles Sinclair, who is a past student of Mount Alverna Prep, that is Senator Sinclair, who is also counselor for the Flankers Division, he moved a motion to declare October 4 Mount Alverna Chetwood Day. And
Nice.
I was so, there's another counselor whose name is eluding me now, who was also the one who seconded the motion.
He went to Mount Alverna Prep.
Was it Brown? Can't remember his name now. My goodness. But he is a Chetwood boy, and he
Yes.
seconded the motion. And then we had Councillor Kerry, who had something to do with the stairs that go up on the side of Queen's Drive there to take you into Mount Alverna. He got up and he supported it wholeheartedly.
Overwhelming support then.
Say?
Overwhelming support.
Yes, man. Overwhelming support. And it was voted unanimously to declare October 4 Mount Alverna Chetwood Day in Montego Bay. But in
We're gonna
addition,
have a big thing in the city. Talk to me.
to that, they're also
What?
going to be giving the Franciscan Sisters of Allegheny the keys to the city of Montego Bay. And that's a big deal.
Okay,
That
I
is,
shouldn't be dancing, but I can't help myself. I am dancing. This
yes,
is fantastic news.
it is. Sister Trinita, Sister Odette, and Sister Teresita actually drove down from Kingston to sit in council and walk through the whole thing. And, they were so overwhelmed. They were
They said
just
it was Councillor Brown who was the other
Councillor
councillor.
Brown.
Somebody's Kemar Lynch is online saying it was Councillor Brown.
Didn't
Which
know.
Brown is that?
He is councillor. The school falls in his division.
Okay.
What's his first name, Lord?
It's because
You're
I
not
think
remembering. Not
I'm sorry.
remembering. But it's okay. But it was it was a very warm morning. I mean, I don't say warm in the sense of warmth in the room, not just the heat, because in there air conditioned, eh? But it was a really heartwarming session. And we stayed on a little bit and then we were excused. And they also presented plaques to all three institutions, congratulating them on their 100-year achievement. So that
I
was a
see
good.
Melody McFadden.
And
Can you
you're
sing
going to
that?
help us with the celebration, right?
Yeah. Melody McFadden is in Canada. She's saying happy 100th.
Oh,
Thanks,
Melody?
guys. Yes, Melody
Lord
McFadden.
have mercy. Long time I don't see Melody. Melody,
Me
how
too.
you
Long
do?
time I don't see her on my page. Look at that. My voice is gone.
You want
I have
some
to
water?
get me
Get
some
some
water.
water.
Yeah.
Get a little water and come back. Hi, Melody. It is lovely to hear that you're actually on. And I hope you're doing well. And I hope you're coming to our gala, which is going to be in October. And we haven't spoken about that yet because I want our chairman, Damian Brown. Damian Brown is the counselor. Thank you, Elaine. You see, Elaine came to my rescue. She says, Counselor Damian Brown. There I was saying Fabian. Damian Brown
Counselor
was the counselor.
Damian Brown is
Yes,
there. Right. See,
yes,
Kemar said
indeed.
it. Kemar said it. Yeah. So
Yeah,
he
man.
went to Mount Alvernia Prep?
No, he went to Chetwood.
Oh, okay.
He went
All
to
right.
Chetwood.
All right. All right. All right.
And it's funny. I met a gentleman the other day, someone who we both know very well.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me that he was a student at Mount Alvernia High.
Yeah, because we have men who
We,
attended.
we I had a couple of men in my class when I was there. They were
Many people don't know
seminarians
this.
actually, and they were all studying to be priests. Some of them didn't quite make it. Some of them
Girl,
dropped
it's not
out.
easy to become a priest, you know.
I
Neither
know.
is it easy to become a nun.
I
That's
of
why
course
I
not.
give all the power to the Franciscan sisters because I don't know how they did it.
Of course it's not. But um, this is from Lloyd's, Mr. Pearson, Lloyd Pearson. He said he spent 3 years at Mount Alvernia High because the subjects that he wanted to do were not, they were being offered and they combined the classes at Mount Alvernia. So he never saw Cornwall for quite some time.
Look at that.
And I said to him, we got to talk to you on Janet's program one of these
Now,
days
what
and
did he
tell us
say? I
about
hope he said yes.
how it was, for you to be a boy among maybe
Yes.
35, 36 girls in a class. And maybe
I
one other young man was there with him. How was that experience? He got married to a Mount Alvernia girl, mind you, who also went to Chetwood. Yes, 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 yes. You know
Yeah,
that connection.
many of us found our husbands right across the road. Yeah, many of us.
Indeed.
In fact, it
Indeed.
was a competition between Moby High and Mount Alvernia who would find a Cornwall husband.
What can I
Yeah,
tell you? The men of
except for
might.
me, men of might.
Men of
Tell
might.
us, so tell us how the schools have evolved though over the years. Chetwood, I know that might be difficult for your chair but I'm hoping that you can give us a little insight. Chetwood,
Well, let me tell you
Mount Alvernia Prep, Mount
what I
Alvernia High
recall.
School.
The school started in 1925,
Right.
and then it started as St. James Academy. Yes,
Me never
and
even
it was
know
a
that.
little boarding school, later renamed Mount Alvernia Academy. And it was, of course, a group of very dedicated Franciscan nuns that started it. And of course, they're from Allegheny in New York. In fact, when we had our church service, we had a couple of them come down from New York to worship with us, and that was so nice. Many of them on in age, but they took the time and they took their time and went through mass and came to the brunch, and they all went on a bus and went back to Kingston. And I thought, wow, that was so nice of them to come. Everybody came.
So there are
Everybody.
there are many Franciscan sisters that are still around.
Yes, but most of them are on the older side.
I
They're
know.
going
I
up in
know.
age, but they're still going and they're still doing their thing, still touching lives, and just trying to make a better space, a better place. You know.
Mhm.
And then I think the name that comes to mind is Sister Alcock, Alcoque, Alcock, I think. She was the Mother Superior at the time for the Franciscan sisters. And then, of course, there's a slightly different twist to Chetwood's story because Father Chetwood the school is named after Father Chetwood, who, even though he was involved in the establishment of the institution, couldn't actually do the running of it. So he called on the Franciscan sisters to
Mhm.
run the institution. And then they were teaching from like maybe kindergarten to high school. So it was a small population, But then they came to really service the poor students in Montego Bay.
Right.
And when they realized that, boy, they wouldn't have enough money, they said, well, let's see if we can get some people to come who can pay. And so the prep school kind of broke off into its own, its own bubble with paying
The
students.
money maker then.
Yes, that was the cash cow. That was
Yes.
the cash cow in order to be able to take care of the expenses of the school. And then later on, the school grew, and now we have 1,400 students at Mount Alvernia High, all girls,
It's
all girls.
1,400. Well,
Yes, 1,400 is
oh my
quite a
God.
huge population there.
Huge, huge.
And I think the students have continued to do very well academically. I'm not
Yes.
sure where they are on the list of schools right now, but
I think there were like 14 last week when I looked.
yeah.
Either 12 or 14. Somewhere down there, which isn't bad at all.
And it's holistic education,
Yes, it
so you're
is.
not just focusing, you don't just have your head down in the books. They
Nah.
have a very vibrant dance club, and they do a lot of performing arts. They're into sports. They just participated in pen relays, and in fact, we should be having one of. I think we have two Olympians. Um, Here I go again with the names, not remembering the
Don't bother
names.
to don't listen. Now, we don't have to go into the names. Just know that the school is doing exceptionally well,
Yes,
and
yes,
that we can be proud to say
of
that we
course,
are
we can be
proud
proud.
women of Alvernia.
Yes,
Whether we went to Chetwood, the prep school, or the high school, the three schools have shaped the
yes,
fabric of the society that is here in Montego Bay. I
yes.
mean, I wasn't the best student at Mount Auburn. I was a troublemaker. But look at me today. So that means that school must have given something to me.
Of course.
You understand where I'm coming from?
Yes, yes, yes. I,
Yeah.
I know we had a couple of troublemakers in our year, and they have turned out so well.
I think the troublemakers make the best adults.
I
Could be wrong.
agree. No,
Could be
they give
wrong.
trouble at school, but when life catches up on them, they say, "Oh my goodness, all these things I learned here, they didn't count for naught on
No,
me."
no,
You
no,
know, maybe
no.
at the time you didn't realize, but
My
having
teachers were
left, you can
surprised
look
by my
back and
verses.
say, "This is what it taught me, and this is why I am who I am." And the whole business of caring and kindness to people, and not looking down on people, I think it's something that was ingrained. You treat people with respect. It's not just about, we had a dean of discipline. I don't know if you remember her, Sister Mary Catherine.
That was my favorite
That was my
sister,
favorite.
by the
That was
way.
my favorite
Okay.
teacher.
That
Bless
was
her
my
soul. I
favorite
mean,
sister.
she's still around, and she taught me Spanish. And I'll tell you, Sister Mary Catherine was just the best. Hermana
Marlene,
María Catalena, y yo puedo hacerlo hasta hoy. I can still say it up to today with my tongue rolling. Hermana María Catalena. She
you
was just
remember
the
that
best.
Spanish
Trust
song
me.
that we used to sing? Marlene, I think I'm losing you sometimes, though, I think your
You're
your
losing
your
me.
internet is becoming spotty. So I'm gonna read.
Oh
Lorna
dear.
Walcott says, "Congratulations to my school on the hill. Happy Centennial."
Called Alvernia.
Lorna Walcott Harris. And Melody says, "Yes, Marlene, long time. Janet may always dip on your page, but you don't comment these days, Melody." And that's why I said it's a long time I don't see you on the page. But anyway, I won't even bother to think that today is about me. It's about the Centennial and Marlene Stephen Sodali, who is chair of the Centennial Committee. Can you speak to some notable alumni who embody the spirit and values of these institutions, Marlene, outside of me and you?
Yes, of course. There are some people that come to mind. There's some people that come to mind. Paula Dawson. Paula was our guest speaker at the launch press conference that we had late last year, and I think Paula is very well known across the sporting world for all of what she does. She is a consultant physiatrist, not a psychiatrist, a physiatrist and a sports medicine lecturer. And there are so
Wow.
many other parts to her. She actually also has a studio where she can record you if you're ready. Janet, if you're ready to bust the record, she can she can record you. People like
No,
Dr.
I'm
Andrea.
juggling music. I'd prefer to juggle music than to sing.
All
So if
right,
she can
you know
teach
your
me how to
strength.
juggle,
You know your strength.
that's fine with me.
But people like Dr. Andrea Barrett come to
Mhm.
mind. She is associate professor at the University of Technology these days, and she has a very wide range of experience. She's an innovation specialist, project management specialist, and she lectures in entrepreneurship and those kinds of things. I'm thinking of Dr. Marvet Wint, who was one of the little troublemakers too. She was
I
in my
know
year,
that. Don't. She's still a troublemaker, but she gives good trouble.
but
Very
she is.
proud of that girl.
Yes, I'm so very proud of her, and she came down to
Yes.
be a part of the health and wellness fair as well. I think of people like Barbara McInnes, now Barbara McInnes Heyman. I think of what's her name, Hyde. Oh Lord, she was just, well, she wasn't awarded, but she was nominated as one of the Prime Minister's youth awardees.
For this past year,
Yes, for
and
this
the
past
brown,
season.
the
So some
young
younger
lady
ones, some
Brown.
older ones.
Yes.
And they just continue to make their
And
mark. I think of bankers, investment bankers, people who have been in that field in business. I think of entrepreneurs. God, a lot of
don't
them coming
worry,
to
we have
my
some
mind.
online like Joy L. Crawford,
Yes, I'm thinking
who
of Joy Clark.
opened our eyes as it relates to HIV and all
Yes,
the people in this country that really needed you to take care of them.
yes,
Stop that stigma, erase that stigma as
yes.
it relates to
And Joy is
HIV.
my classmate, actually.
Yeah. Mm. I
Joy is
see
my
Joy
classmate.
online.
Yes. Joy is online, howdy.
Yes, yes. And somebody said Kemba is the athlete.
Kemba is the athlete, Lord have
Yes.
mercy. I tell you, my head now works so good. But
No,
anyway,
don't worry, Marlene. I want you to relax, just like you would tell the students that are on School's Challenge quiz to relax and answer the questions.
and
Now
then
I'm going to use my form of interviewing to say to you, just relax, unwind. Guess who is here watching as well? Maxine Bisesa. And she
oh,
says, keep it
wonderful.
going, ladies. We did 99 more to come. And that is our public relations chair. Is that we call it
Yes, yes.
chairman?
Yeah,
Right.
man.
For
She's the
our
chair of
Centennial
executive.
public relations team. So if we don't do well this evening, we're in trouble
We get a
as part of
meeting.
the team. All right.
Oh my
Melissa
goodness.
Graham says, please don't forget Barrington Fleming from the Chetwood Memorial. No, we won't.
We won't.
We were talking about, yes, it's true. I agree with you totally. Let's not forget one of our best writers in the country, Barrington Fleming, who attended Chetwood Memorial and is also part of our public
You know
relations.
one person that I think I want to mention right here and now before I forget?
Yes, yes.
Joan Carr. Joan Carr is a graduate of 1980. She
Mm-hmm.
went, I believe, to Chetwood Memorial Primary. She went to Mount Alvernia High, and she's now the vice principal at Chetwood Memorial.
Wow, she went right back.
Full circle. Full
Wow.
circle.
Full circle.
Yeah, man.
Full circle.
I think
Melissa,
of
you're
Nancy
great. I
Jackson.
am grateful to you for highlighting that for me.
Yeah, I
So
think of Nancy.
the schools were founded by the Franciscan sisters, Marlene. We
Yes.
are here 100 years later, and we are having a big splash. That's a gala. You want to talk to me about that gala?
The gala. Well, the gala is going to be the highlight of the homecoming week. Mount Alvernia High is having their homecoming week starting on the 19th of October,
Mm-hmm.
and they go through until the 25th when they culminate with this grand gala. Now,
Talk to
their
me about the week of
hotel for
activities.
the week is Sea Gardens Beach Resort, which is also run, co-managed by one of our graduates as well. Yes,
Is
you
that
know
Trisha
that.
Ann?
Which one?
Is that Trisha Ann?
Yes, yes, yes.
Trisha Ann Bikari?
Yes, Bikari.
Okay,
She's a
so
graduate. She's a former head girl, I believe.
Good. And her kids went to Mount Alvernia as well.
Yeah, so it's kind of mix up and blend up, but she she's participating in that capacity, and we're very happy for that. Now they're having meet and greet, I'm told, at the Pineapple Beach in Reading, and that's free, so anybody can go. Any Mount Alvernia girl can go for that. And of course, the highlight among the other things that they're having, like quiz and sports day and what have you. Their grand gala is set for the Montego Bay Convention Center on the 25th. I know they've so far confirmed performers like Mr. AJ Boots Brown. You will remember AJ got perhaps his first concert over at Mount Alvernia High, wooing and serenading some of those young ladies there at the time. And then, of course, we have Benji Myers, and Benji's a Compre graduate, as you know. DJ Crazy Neil will be there. And I gather we
Wonder
have.
what school Crazy went to.
I'm not so sure.
All right. Must check
But
him out. That.
I know he's crazy, and he usually gives you a great time for those people who want to put on their dancing shoes and come out and dance after all of the formalities. And, but it's a black tie affair, so it's going to be a lot of pomp and pageantry. And we have the Vernon's band as well. You remember Mrs. Vernon, who taught music?
Oh, could we forget that? That was one of our best teachers.
Yes.
We all went to music class because of Mrs. Vernon.
Yes, and she had the Glee Club and all the people who could sing, like Debbie Dougal and so. They were all on that in that sphere. Couldn't sing so good, so.
I was a member of one of those clubs, Glee clubs.
The singing club.
I can remember. Se levanta la niña las dos, porque viene la madrugada, porque viene la se. You see, because you speak in Spanish, I'm singing in Spanish.
Yes. No, listen, man. Sister Mary Catherine wasn't know me. I mean, she was. I don't want to. I'm singling her out, but I still remember my lines from my Spanish play, Janet. It's not a joke,
I know.
I remember it like yesterday. I was a flower girl, and I was saying flores, 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 señor, rosas, claveles, margaritas, violetas, flores, señor. And the gentleman looked at me, and that gentleman was Jackie Jarrett Nicholson. The play was Un Jamaicano in Mexico. And Jackie Jarrett Nicholson, she was the Jamaican. It was played by another young lady when it was Un Americano in Mexico. And then it turned out to be Un Jamaicano in Mexico. And Jackie said to me, Que gorda. She wanted to say, Que Belinda, how beautiful, and she said, Que gorda. And I said, Gorda, yo. Que hombre más simpático, insolente, grosero, malcriado. And I tell him off. I remember he was dressed in his drape-up pants. Oh, my God.
Those who are not only just starting to watch, Jackie Nicholson is Mount Alvernia High School's Faye Ellington. I would say that she was our Faye Ellington.
Yes.
Memory knows a lot about the culture and celebrates the culture just like we do.
Yeah. Memories don't leave like people do, right?
Pierre Louise and Nicole J. Smith.
I tell you. But that gala, I just want to let people know that the tickets are on sale. And if you purchase now, you get your early bird tickets. I think early bird is $170 or the Jamaican equivalent. And if you wait until after the end of June, it's going to cost you $200. So we'd like you to get your tickets now. It's very important. www.caribtix, that's caribtix.com/Mount Alvernia 100.
Nice. Dr. Margaret Wynn just joined us, and she's saying, Lord, me late. Understandably so. We know how busy you can get there. We don't know what you are doing in Atlanta today, but we're happy to have you. Are there any projects, though, Marlene, being launched in honor of the Centennial? Like scholarships, renovations, those type of things?
We have 3 legacy projects, and this is where we need the support of everyone. I like to think that, as my granny would say, one cocoa full basket. And so we are we have 3 projects. One is for Mount Alvernia Prep, and I'll tell you about that one briefly. They would like to do an additional floor, which would have 3 classrooms, a library, and a bank of bathrooms, right? So sanitary conveniences,
Mm-hmm.
3 classrooms, and a library. For Mount Alvernia High, they want to renovate the auditorium. And the auditorium is the hub. That's where everybody has lunch. That's where they have their, little functions. Any little thing is the auditorium. And it is really in a bad state. I was there for the health and wellness fair, and I must admit, we need ceiling, we need flooring, we need the windows, the old windows that are there from I was there. And we really do need to refresh and refurbish that space. And they also need a generator. So those are the 2 things. That alone is going to come to about $20 million. And I'm hoping that persons will dig deep into their pockets and make a contribution. For Chetwood wants to do a pavilion. Presently, they don't have an auditorium. And there was a wall to the back of the school, which is now more or less rubble. And they would like to put a pavilion in that area, which would allow for outdoor activities in a covered area, whether they can do their devotions there, they can have their sporting activities, they can do just about anything, and take the children outside of the classroom for some sort of learning in a slightly different environment, outdoors. So that's going to cost a pretty penny as well.
So do we donate to the individual schools? What is it?
Well,
How do we donate?
there is an account that we have set up. We have 2 accounts, and in fact, we are about 2 days away from launching a website which would allow you to go onto that site and make a donation. And I'm going to, even though we're 2 days away, I'm going to give you the
Account
website.
number?
I'm going to
The
give you
website.
the website address, because that would be important for you to go on. There's a donation tab, and when you donate, you can just say what it's for in the remarks section on the
Fine.
platform.
Good.
Right.
So
So
one website for all 3, and
yes,
you can donate to the
and you
various
just indicate
projects
Chetwood, Mount
mentioned
Alvernia High,
just
Mount
now.
Alvernia Prep.
Right.
Right.
And
So
Mount Alvernia,
www.mountalverniachetwood100.com.
www.
mountalverniachetwood100.com.
All right. And it's MOUNT or
No,
MT?
empty,
Okay.
empty. And we also have, we're trying to do some more work on our Facebook and our Instagram account. So we invite people to follow us at MA Schools Centennial. At MA School Centennial. And I know our young ladies who are very enthusiastic and gung-ho about the week of celebrations of Mount Alvernia High. They also have a page, which is MAHS Homecoming 2025. And you can get a lot of the excitement and information regarding that week of activities for Mount Alvernia High in particular on that page. And of course, Chetwood would have had their page from before, and Mount Alvernia Prep. But at Centennial is good. MA Schools Centennial is good.
MA Schools
MA Schools
Centennial.
Centennial, and that's at Facebook and on Instagram.
All right.
And
Fantastic.
what else do I need to tell you?
And you say the auditorium is going to cost about 20 million.
About 20 million.
That's
Yeah.
Mount Alvernia. You say that the other school, I'm thinking that Mount Alvernia Prep is gonna need about 30 million or more.
A little bit more.
Putting in so many millions,
A little bit more.
And the pavilion is probably going to cost maybe 5 million.
No, the pavilion is going to be quite a bit more. In fact, we are awaiting that bill of quantities from the quantity surveyor to tell us exactly how much. And so I don't want to actually give you a figure for Chetwood, because that has taken a little time coming in terms of the actual projected cost. As you know, things are going up every day. But I firmly believe that if everybody just dig into their pocket and just make a sacrifice and make a contribution, we can do it. One cocoa full basket.
Yeah, I mean,
empty right now.
I can't say but our charity, we are going to give $500,000 towards the auditorium, but we will say exactly where in the auditorium we want that money to go. but
Okay.
we are
Well, we
committing
are grateful, Janet. We're very grateful for that.
$500,000, which is equivalent to half a million dollars. And
Hmm.
we may just move that up to a million. We're not sure yet, but we may just.
Right, because I know you have other charities that you
Yeah.
work with and other students who are getting scholarships and so forth.
Right.
So
So,
we're really very grateful for that, Jan.
mm,
And, as I said, if everybody just make a little sacrifice. As
Melody,
Mappy would say, give and give generously.
oh, Melody says give it to us in US dollars. So
We
the
have
next
we have
time
a
we
US
come
and a
here to
J
speak,
dollar on the platform, so you can
no,
contribute.
she's saying no,
Or you
that
may give her the equivalent.
we are to give her the equivalent in US dollars because that
Melody never
really
just hear me
does
say that
help.
the math's not good.
Well, all right, I'm going to max it out for you, Mel,
Math it
because
out for me, please.
we're going to max it out for you. 20
My
million
God.
divided by 160. $125,000 for Mount Alvernia High School auditorium. Melody McFadden. Ken Chetwood asked donors to purchase a seat on the path. I think that's an excellent
Yes,
idea,
yes.
Dr. Wind. I think that is an excellent idea. Good evening, Kathy. Or Kathy, sorry. By the way, I need to just acknowledge a question that was raised
Hmm.
by Melody earlier, which says that Sister Mary Catherine was recognized at the 70th anniversary, and she thinks that was when the Alumni Association was started. She's asking if you remember that.
That's when the Alumni Association started.
Yes, that's what she's saying.
Hmm. I don't know. I remember coming back to Montego Bay in 1994. And at the time, the association was dormant, and I gathered the troops and we restarted, and we had some really good times. Sister Mary Catherine was one of the persons that we had a dinner in honor of, as well as Mr. Kurian Cherian
Mhm.
posthumously. And we did about 3 or 4 dinners. Elaine is online, so she can remind me of all of the.
I don't know. Elaine, I'm not seeing Elaine, but
You're not
then
seeing
again, I'm
Elaine?
not seeing everyone who is online.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
seeing where Joy is saying that Miss McLennan would grade your math paper, Merle. Must be yours. I can't. I mean, I don't remember if I was ever in Miss McLennan's class,
Boy,
but
I,
I
I
can
used
tell
to
you
hide
that
from
I
Miss
was worse
McClellan.
than you where maths is concerned. I don't even remember if I took maths in CXC. Did I? Oh, we all had to.
We
I
all
think
had to,
we
and some
all
of us
did.
hid.
I did. I don't remember. I don't remember what grade I got, but I still don't think it was D. It was probably a grade three, even
I,
though
I,
I knew
I,
nothing about maths.
I just didn't
Anyway,
think too much
Marlene.
about it.
Anyway,
Anyways, my
Marlene,
dear Jan, it was
you
really a
have really
pleasure.
taken on a huge leadership role here with this centennial planning. Um, before you go, I just wanted to tell me what has been your the most fulfilling part of this journey so far? Because I mean, you didn't start last week. We're talking about January when you were doing things.
Yes,
What
yes.
has it been so far for you before you go?
I'll tell you, we've had ups and downs, and like in any human interaction, you're going to have different personalities that you have to work with. But you know that you need a team. You need a Gabrielle Lee, who is going to be the president for Jamaica's association. You need a
Mhm.
Dawn Chin Jones, who is going to be president for
Who is
the
going to
Central
be?
Florida,
Who
who is,
is?
she's going to take on the role. She's going to spearhead. She's going to
Mhm.
lead her team. She's from the Central Florida International Chapter. Carlene Williams, who is over there in South Florida, and she has a specific role to play. You have all of the people who have now taken on the mantle to head different subcommittees, whether it is for the church service and brunch, whether it is for the beach party that's coming up. Elaine Mullings has taken the lead with that now, and she's still being supported by Raquel Williams. Whether it is somebody like a Kristen Reynolds, who she has a big heart and she will come and do as much as she can, or whether it is somebody like Lorna, Paul, who doesn't come to meetings, but she's behind the scene trying to get one or two people to sponsor a little something here and there, or whether it's a Michelle Easton, who has
Mm-hmm.
stepped up to the plate to lead the gala, or whether it is a Susan Wallace, who is over there in foreign, but she is making sure that the girls who are coming to pen relays have adequate clothing, adequate food, adequate this, and she's there cheering them on as their cheerleader, and she contributes to this larger group as well. Janice, I tell you now, I must not call names because I keep forgetting things.
Don't worry. Guess what we can do with all these names? We can carry their names on our each week. Those we forget
Yes.
for next week when I come, we put their names out because
Yeah.
we will never ever be able to call all names. Take it from me. I'm telling you that. You better call my name. That's all I have to tell you. All right.
Yes, and of course,
And
Janet Silvera, who is going to assist us in making sure that we have a really nice celebration for that October 4. I'm told by the mayor's office that the keys to the city will be given on National Heroes Day, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to have our little celebration or
but
not so
why are
little
they doing it
celebration
on National Heroes Day? It's not
because
gonna have the same impact
they
anyway.
we will
I'm
talk
not
to them
saying
off air
anything.
on that one.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
the truth is, it's everybody putting hands and hearts together because without that kind of collaboration, without that kind of really working together and the stick to itiveness that is required for this, some people are going to fall by the wayside. But we are here
Understandably so.
for a purpose. We know why we're here. And as I say to everybody, we do it for the love, not for the likes.
Exactly. And, uh, on that note, before I say bye and thank you for spending your evening with me, I know how busy your day was, but I know you found the time to get home just so we could do this interview. Before you go, I want to tell you that I don't like to meet on Sundays. So you have to do something about that. All right. So just letting you know that Sundays
All
are
right,
my
all
rice
right,
and
Janet,
beans
I
and
hear you.
chicken day. All right. And you're asking us to meet on Sundays. You and Maxine Besesa. And I can't manage it. So I'm just saying, change that, please.
I can do any day, man. I mean, as
Okay.
long as it's not second or fourth Wednesday when I have my Toastmasters meeting.
No, but we have Wednesdays now. I'm doing interviews on a Wednesday, so it
Right.
definitely not on a Wednesday.
Yes.
So we have to
Okay.
find other days.
Okay.
But that's
Okay.
internal. So
Okay.
thank you again, Chair. It has been my
My
pleasure
grandson,
having
my
you.
grandson just came to look for me.
Oh, that's so nice.
Can you
Who do we
imagine?
have next week,
Oh, I'm gone.
Chairman? Who do we have next week? Who are we
Next
interviewing?
week
Who
we
am
should
I
be having
interviewing next week?
a representative from. It would either be Sister Odette or Sister Teresita or both. So we're going to
Mm-hmm.
talk to our Franciscan sisters next week and just, get a feel of how they are feeling because I know they're elated. Sister Odette wrote us such a warm letter to say that, gosh, she's pinching herself because she's wondering if this is all real. And they are very grateful. Can I tell you
Yeah.
how these sisters are? At the end of the brunch, sister gave us a contribution of $150,000.
Wow. Well,
one
anyway,
hundred and fifty thousand dollars,
this
and
is
she said, "Put
fantastic
this
news.
towards whatever."
Fantastic news.
Yeah, and I mean, these are not sisters. Don't walk around with a lot of money in their pocket.
No,
They live a very basic life,
they
and for them to
sacrifice.
take up that amount of money and just say, "Ladies, here's a contribution," it meant a lot
Wow.
to me. Meant a lot to me.
No, I really am grateful to as a member of the team. I see that our PR chair is saying Sunday it is.
Well, I'm not saying anything.
That's what she's saying. I don't know how she reached in the penny corner and is there instructing us on social media. Eh?
I
But
work with the
anyway,
program.
I deserve it because I should not have brought it up here. So I deserve it. I would, Madam Chair, I'm in total agreement with you. Anyway, good evening, and I want to thank all the people who came out this evening. I mean, threw away them busy schedule just so they could be part of this. Thank you. We'll see you
And
again
Janet,
next Wednesday.
before you
Yeah.
go, I want to say a very special thank you to you because you're giving up at least a half an hour every Wednesday for this program. We hope to interview at least 100 people on this program. And you could have said, boy, I'm too busy for you guys. I have other things to do, but you have made the commitment. And I want to publicly say thank you for this gesture. And we
Okay.
appreciate it. And we hope that we know that it will amplify our message and that we will reach more people on this platform. And we just want to say, hey, big up and bless up.
Well, all these years I've been on social media, I don't recall telling people, click the follow button.
Yes. But they do it anyway.
Well, follow us on this channel so that we can continue to brief you on what's happening in our 100 year. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming. Bless you.
Exit and stream. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm.